Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to Division 3 here in the Midwest F1 League. Today, the league makes its return to the Zandvoort circuit here in the Netherlands. This 4.2-kilometer circuit features 14 corners and 2 DRS zones, but the main attraction here has to be the banked corners in turns 1, 3, and 14, which is a sight that F1 hasn't seen since 2007 back in Indianapolis Motor Speedway when they used to have the U.S. Grand Prix there. Virtual Pirelli have given us the hardest tires in the Pirelli range with the C3 softs, C2 mediums, and C1 hards, and of course the Cinerado compounds of the inters and full wets. And I'm going to tell you right now, you have no idea how much I practiced Cinturato. I've never actually looked and seen what they're called. They're called Cinerados, ladies and gentlemen. Inters and full wets, that's what they're called. But a fair amount of driver changes tonight as Snooker replaces Wild Mida in the Alpine, Text-to-Speech replaces Noganator in the Mercedes, Shelley the Turtle fills in for Spoolendub in the Ferrari, and a dual seat swap both with the Red Bull and AlphaTauri garage, as the teams consist of It's Heavy, Evil Prime, and then finally with AlphaTauri, Corgi, and Giroud makes up the AlphaTauri team tonight. So yeah, Netherlands, very fun track, highly anticipated. It's actually ironic, real F1 calendar racing here this weekend. Now this track hasn't been used since, it's not held a Formula One Grand Prix since 1985, with the podium 3 where Niki Lauda winning the race, Alan Prost, and then Ayrton Senna were the podium 3, and that was the final race win of Niki Lauda's career, one of my favorite F1 drivers of all time. What else we got here? Jim Clark holds the most wins at the circuit with 4 wins. Of course, back then it was a much different circuit. It was almost a lot like Spa, how that used to be, with having it go off into the woods, almost like the Nürburgring, for that matter. How it kind of just went off into no man's land out in the woods. But Ferrari, Scuderia Ferrari holds the most wins at this track with 8. The banking in turn 14, which is the final corner, and I think also this one here as well. Well, around the circuit, the banking can go up to 18 degrees of grade, which is double of Indianapolis when the last time, as I said before, that F1 race on the banked circuit. And if you are a NASCAR fan, that's equivalent to Las Vegas, Kentucky, Homestead, Miami, and Kansas speedways. Hot take, this is Homestead, Miami is the only good track out of those 4, but I don't know, apparently a lot of people like Kansas for some reason. It's not my cup of tea, but people really seem to enjoy those circuits, and I tell you what, this has been a hot topic going into Formula One, not just here in the Midwest F1 League, but in the actual F1 calendar as well. This is a very tricky circuit, and that proves so, as Pork Chops actually had to make an announcement in the Discord to get everybody out of practice sessions and into their respective race lobbies, as they took way too much time getting ready. But here we are into your, I guess, impromptu track guide. Now down into turn 1, as it's called, Tarzan. Either third or second gear, depends on your preferences. You definitely want to be easy on the throttle out of it. You're going to make 2 gear changes down to 5th. Now going into turn 3. This is a tricky corner to take, and again, another corner very easy to lose on exit. I've done it a couple times myself, not just in the F2 race yesterday, but today in the practice race as well. This is turn 7. Couple of different ways to take that. You can brake earlier and take it flat out, or you can brake a little bit later. Depends on your driving style. Beware of track limits right here through turn 8. And over here into turn 10, down into 3rd gear. Really want to ride the curb, but be careful. It's just like Hungary. If you get that curb too much, you're going to spin and into the DRS zone. Now this is, you're going to take this corner here all the way down into 3rd gear, then quickly transition down to 2nd. And again, ride the curbs and beware of track limits on exits, and also beware of spinning. Snooker's done okay there to avoid an accident. Down over into turn number 13, down into 5th. Back up through the gears, coming around, well, this has a very long name, I'm not going to say it, but around that banked corner, and that is your unofficial track guide. And I tell you what, he set a relatively slower than normal lap of 112.093, as some of us in the practice race were running low 11s, high 10s to be honest, as you see Hammer 38 goes and hits a 111.4. So pretty solid lap there. I don't think it's going to be worthy of pole position by any means, as we still have a lot of time left in the session. No flag in Sector 3, I think that's just Kaz doing a thing there. So according to the Pork Chops Weather News Center, he's gone and shown me that we're going to be looking at a wet race about 30 minutes into it. The rain percentages increases throughout the race. It starts at about 5 minutes in, and it starts climbing from about 14%, and about that 25-minute mark, it's going to get up to 70, and then up to the 30-minute mark, it's going to be 83% chance of rain. So definitely some rain in the forecast here during the race, but here for the qualifying session, it's going to be all about taking your car to the absolute max. As you know, we're going to have another one of those situations like we had in Brazil, where you really need to get off to a fast start in qualifying, because when that rain comes down, everything is going to go out the window. And I tell you what, Dead Text Message said a really solid lap of 110.9. That's a pretty good one. SC Smith not that far off, and if I'm to be corrected, I think this is the Division 3 debut of SC Smith in the Haas. I think the seat has been lovely filled by Villeneuve for the past couple weeks, as far as I can remember. It could have been last week. I, of course, was racing in Division 4, but we're not going to talk about that because that did not go well. But SC Smith in the Haas, P2 at the moment. DNA Nico I think he's yet to set a fast lap. Here he comes around the corner. I mean, he set the 111.3, and he's improved it by just a little bit there, 110.930. Only 8 1/1000ths of a second separate him and second place of SC Smith. So definitely some tight margins here. ZGS, as you've noticed, has gone P1 at 110.8. It's a very solid lap, if I say so myself. Oh, we have an incident over there going out of turn 14. That is Ray 46, and, well, I have a couple guesses as to what's happened here. I guess maybe he's just been a little too heavy on the throttle through this corner. Now, depending on what tire compound you're using, some of them won't let you take that corner absolutely flat, and I'm guessing that Ray 46 had one of two things happen. Maybe he went too heavy on the throttle, spun the car around, or maybe even hit the patch of grass underneath at the bottom of the corner, at the bottom of the banking, and kind of lost the car, because it was towards the bottom of the track, but thankfully that section of the track is, let's just say, self-cleaning. Humble Hippo, well, he's at a 150. He's also invalidated this lap, as you see, Hammer 38 on his outlap. And while we have a second here, let's go over our constructors' standings. Red Bull Racing sits P1 at 305, Alfa Romeo in second at 275, Alpine 10 points behind in third at 265, Aston Martin only 4 back at 261 in fourth place, Mercedes in fifth at 225, Haas in sixth at 210, Williams in seventh at 185, Ferrari in eighth at 174, McLaren in ninth at 153, and then rounding out the field is AlphaTauri in P10 at a mere 140 points. Now, I tell you what, the AlphaTauri team had a not the best season last year either. I believe they finished P10 in Constructors for Division 3 last season as well, so they were hoping to get off to a better start than this, and I tell you what, they are kind of running out of time to do so. They could still make up some positions. I mean, none of the positions 7 through... pretty much anywhere up to P7 is doable for AlphaTauri. They just really need to get it together. As you see, Shelly the Turtle letting someone by. Oh, has he lost an end plate? No, I guess he just saw through it there for a second. Let's see who's coming around the corner now. Here comes Dead Text Message, currently P2. Ooh, did he just hit the wall and exit right? Interesting thing I'm seeing here, a couple drivers choosing to go on the medium tire now. DNA Nico's done that. He's managed P4, his best lap. Unholy Red Eye, P7 currently on the medium. Evil Prime and Humble Hippo, only other drivers to set their best time on the medium tire. Though if you look on who's on the medium tires right now, it's a significant majority of the field. ZGS is on it, Dead Text Message, SC Smith, DNA Nico, Unholy Red Eye, Capital, Snooker. Oh, K-Dog's back this week. Evil Prime. Oh, what's this? Giroud has gone off, and then Dead Text Message goes off. Well, I can't say I saw that coming, but I have no clue what's happened there. I was just going along reading through who was on what compound of tires, and then suddenly people have crashed. See if is there anyone that we can follow along with that has seen believe that's Humble Hippo that's going to see it right now. I mean, there's really no sign of what's happened. I am going to make the guess, though. What my guess is they've hit the gravel on the exit of turn, what is that? That is turn number 7. Where if you hit the gravel, if that combination between gravel and curbs is not exactly the best, and it's very easy to lose the car through that section. Watch, as you see right now, as Ray 46 takes it down into the corner. If you hit those curbs there, you can spin. You hit those curbs, you can spin. Ray 46 did just that! And that is what I'm assuming happens to both Giroud and Dead Text Message. That's, well, Ray 46 has really gone and done us a fair demonstration there of what I think has gone and happened. Thankfully, his car has only lost the front wing much. This is the second front wing he has lost this session. After, remember, he had the incident coming out of turn 14. Not the session that Ray 46 needed. And I tell you what, we were in the practice race, and he really looked to be a strong driver through the practice session. He was setting some pretty decent laps, and then he got to the race, and just looks like he hasn't gotten the circuit down pat yet. As text-to-speech, currently sitting at a 109.8. It's a pretty dang good lap right there, if I say so myself. Here's SC Smith on the medium compound. Now, this is an interesting thing here. You would have thought that, well, I guess it makes sense when you go into the races starting on the medium tires. It might be a little interesting here, but what's that there? Humble Hippo's either gone off or something else has happened. SC Smith having to pretty much cancel out that lap time. Now here's ZGS, who I think is on a hot lap here, and he is. If you look at the energy recovery in the bottom left of your screen there. Yeah, I don't think he's on a hot lap, to be honest, now that I'm looking at it. Nico's on his out lap, starting another time one at a 110.9. Not a bad way to start, although I know he's capable of better. Good for P5 at the moment, once after text-to-speech jumped up there. Stays through 6th over that little bump, which is a common strategy you'll see being used. Oh, lots of oversteer there. Manages to save the car nicely. Oh, and we got a car off somewhere. I'm not really sure where, but yellow flags over there in Sector 3. Looked like it was going through turn 14. They're not really sure how that's come about. And Nico, as you can see, is just feathering the throttle at the moment, doing everything he can to keep his wits about him. This isn't going to be a lap that he's going to be proud of, that's for sure, as Evil Prime jumps up to P2 with a 110.3. We'll have to see what he does here. Ooh, we got a car off over, that's Unholy Red Eye. Interesting spot of the track to go off there. Thankfully, he hasn't lost much of his front wing. I'm assuming he's just kind of hit the curbs going through the corner on the bottom side, and maybe slid up the track. Not really sure what's happened there as Nico comes around and goes into the pits. Wow. So goes on an out lap, comes back, and then proceeds to not get a time. Ah, you're killing me. Anyways, Shelly the Turtle in the... Okay, that was just a tire left on the circuit. Sure. Anyways, he's probably going to be coming in soon. His gas light is blinking. Pork Chops currently, if I'm to be corrected, P2 in the Drivers' Championship, only 5 points behind Mitch Burns in the Red Bull. If we look at the Driver Championship now, as I said, Mitch Burns in first at 175, Pork Chops in second at 170, and then it's quite the gap. Unholy Red Eye at 137, and then Kaz in fourth at 125. JST not that far behind at a 123. And then Ray 46 is the next highest active driver at a 111 in P7, tied with Raid Cone and Kenny. And Capital 58 in 9th at 109. SC Smith in 10th at 108. Dini Nico 11th, 105. Racing Ginger in 12th at 102. And then Humble Hippo in 13th at 96. And I tell you what, what's happened here? What am I doing to my... Sorry, I'm scrolling on my laptop at the same time. We're slowly starting to run out of time here. Surely. Does anyone actually see how much time we have left? Pork Chops comes in now. On the out lap is Hammer 38. Now he's currently P12, in need of a good lap here. Hasn't been the most impressive. The Ferrari team entirely, for that matter, so far this season. Hopefully looking to get a better lap in here, up into back into second, maybe a little late downshift there, going through turn number 3. See how much of the curb he cuts off through there. Not a lot. He's going to stay maxed out at 7th gear. Now, a lot of drivers will go into 8th gear going through that section of the track, and then back down into 7th potentially. The game wants you, if you look at suggested gear, it says to stay in 8th gear, but that's definitely not happening in that corner as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I am a terrible driver, but that conversation's for another day. Hammer 38, I tell you what, he looks like his car is struggling right now. It definitely looks like understeer, or oversteer rather, left and right. And I tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if he was putting on his wet setup and trying to go into this race and potentially, you know, play the long game here, as he's just invalidated his lap, which I didn't think was that good of a one anyways, although here he comes back to the line. That would have put him, that was a 110.9, so it would have definitely improved his lap. In fact, it would have put him P7, but unfortunately invalidated it going through those last couple corners there. Humble Hippo is going to be next around as far as starting timed laps. Shelly the Turtle up there in P7 is on his lap. We'll get to him in a moment. I do know for a fact that that corner, when we do get rain later in this race, that corner is going to be an absolute mess, and I think it will for the actual Formula 1 race for that matter, as well as, I forget what the statistic is, but I definitely don't think if we do get a rain race on Sunday for the actual Formula 1 race, I do not think we're going to be able to get an actual race in in the rain on this banking. I think that is probably a bit dangerous there. I mean, the banking is not a lot. It's only 18 degrees, but I mean, that's definitely enough to be considered dangerous in the rain, considering why NASCAR hasn't done that sort of rain tire thing on those tracks. We'll go down now into the DRS section here. He doesn't look like he's on the most impressive of laps, although let's see what he's got coming around these couple corners here. Ooh, he's maybe taking that one a little bit too wide. That was corner number 11. Maybe taking 11 a little bit too wide as he heads now into 13. Maybe a little slow, but it's not the worst lap. I think he can manage to jump up to maybe P11 right now. It's going to be close at the line, and P12. That was pretty close. P12 for Humble Hippo as gets himself at least in a more decent position, I will say. As what's happened to Snooker? As we look at Humble Hippo, he's coming through the corner. Wow, Snooker has lost it in a, I would say, interesting part of the circuit there. I did not really expect anyone to be going off in that section of the track, but that he has. Shelly the Turtle now coming through. Well, he's definitely not on a timed lap here. That's not going to end well if he was. Who else do we got coming to the line? That looks like the Alfa Romeo of Pork Chops going to be starting a timed lap. Pork Chops, I tell you what, has been one of the more breakthrough drivers of this season. Currently second in the point standings, but I tell you what, he's not done that bad. Pork Chops, these past couple of seasons, has demoted himself down from Division 1 into Division 2 last season. Didn't really have a good Division 2 stint last season. But now down in Division 3, he kind of looks more at home, he looks more comfortable, and he looks a lot faster. So, as far as I remember from the Brazil race, the last race that I commentated for Division 3, he was on a pretty good run. And then both of the Alfa Romeo team, for that matter, had a unfortunate end to their days. But Pork Chops currently, Ray 46 got to get out of the way here. And, well, thankfully, Pork Chops took the line correctly. Had he been a little bit wide, Ray 46 would have ended his lap, or any chance of it being a good one. Now down into third. Maybe a little late through the downshifting there. Didn't look too bad. Some people will shift earlier. Some people will even go through seconds, go down to seconds, even into turn 11. Now around the banking, going to stick to the low side, then transition back to the top, carrying the speed outwards. To the line goes Pork Chops, and he's going to go P3. Now that is an absolutely scorching lap there from the Alfa Romeo driver. Hammer making his way into the pits after he's invalidated his lap. P7 at the moment is all he can manage. Next to the line is going to be the Red Bull of It's Heavy S. And he's almost about lost the car there. Very lucky to have held on to that one, as I don't think he's going to be making another lap. Behind him, I believe, is the Alpine of Humble Hippo. Yeah, I was right about that. Is Heavy S going to be making an attempt at a timed lap? Yes, he is. Around the final corner, it's not going to improve whatsoever. But Humble Hippo looks to be on a solid lap here, and he's going to go in the pits. That was a bit unfortunate. Capital 58 next up. Actually, we've got, I believe it's K-Dog. No, it's not K-Dog. It's somebody. It's Unholy Red Eye. Into the pits. Capital 58 into the pits. Man, you guys are killing my vibes here. Ray 46 currently on his lap. SC Smith is P5 at the moment. Here comes Ray 46. Has yet to set a time. Literally anything better than a 1:11 will do the job. Looks to be on a halfway decent lap here, and Ray 46 goes P11. Definitely not where he wants to be. But I tell you what, it's not last, so that's a plus. Next up, I believe, is going to be the Red Bull of Evil Prime, who's already finished his lap. So text-to-speech, going to be getting the job done here in the qualifying session. Decent. Actually, what is that gap? That is 0.3 of a second back on ZGS in second. A very solid lap for him in the Mercedes team. Evil Prime in third. Pork Chops, solid lap, puts him P4, second row of the grid. SC Smith just doing a courtesy lap here for whatever reason. That's probably his AI doing it now, isn't it? So text-to-speech taking the pole position here. And he's, not to mention, he is the fill-in driver for the Mercedes team this week as he fills in for Noganator. So text-to-speech, getting the job done. ZGS second, Evil Prime third, Pork Chops fourth, SC Smith fifth, Shelly the Turtle sixth, Hammer in seventh, eighth is Dead Text Meshes, ninth Unholy Red Eye, 10th is Nico, 11th Ray 46, 12th It's Heavy S, 13th Humble Hippo, 14th Capital 58, and now I make this scroll down, 15th Kaz, 16th Snooker, 17th K-Dog, 18th, and rounding out the field in 18th is Giroud after the incident he had earlier on in the session. But solid lap from text-to-speech. Let's see if he can carry it into the race. And here we go as we start our formation lap here. This edition of the Midwest F1 League is brought to you by Raise Energy. Raise Energy is becoming one of the fastest growing brands in the United States right now, and it's all because of their top-of-the-line flavors and precise formulas that ensure you're getting the most out of every single can. And with no dyes, fillers, or other unnecessary junk, Raise Energy will get the job done. A smooth energy drink with no crash afterwards. What more could you want? Visit repsports.com and use promo code MWF1 at checkout for 15% off your order. Click the link in the description to begin your supply of Raise Energy. And has the lobby crashed, ladies and gentlemen? This is not something I expected. I'm going to be completely honest with you here. I have no clue what's happening out on the circuit. Do we have cars? And, wow, this is kind of a buzzkill, I'm not gonna lie. Wow, I mean, I don't know who's decided to not do the thing. Surely it's not me, is it? No. This is a little bit of a buzzkill, if I'm honest. First time this season so far that we've had a lobby glitch. Oh, there we go. Now we're here. Now we have a formation lap. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Now we're going to talk about tire strategy. So, as far as tires are concerned tonight, this track is very similar to Brazil in the sense that the weather plays the biggest part in tire strategies. If we're looking at a full dry race, which we're not, it could be simple as boxing for the hards around lap 12. Drivers could certainly try to stretch the softs to 15 laps and box for mediums, try to make those 21 laps, but it will take some work. Now, as far as the tire lives themselves go, softs will go for about 11 to 15 laps, medium about 15 to 21. Hards will go about 23 to 27. Now the intermediates will go about 17 to 21 laps, and the full wets will go 21 to 27 laps. So, for those people that started on the mediums, which isn't a lot, but a decent amount at that, if we look at we look and see what tires people on. So a lot of these people that, outside the top 10, there's only two in the top 10, SC Smith and Danny Nico, that have chosen the medium tires. Those guys are going to be at an advantage, because when that rain comes around at about the 30-minute mark, like they say it will. I'm actually going to try to set a timer now to see if we could potentially catch this by surprise here, maybe give ourselves an accurate reading of when the weather is going to come in. But SC Smith and Danny Nico are going to be at a huge advantage right now. Depending, obviously, if they make the start cleanly, which, obviously, this track is a very difficult one. If they make the start sequence cleanly, they can be in a really advantage here, because then they'll only need to make, realistically, one stop. And anyone on the hard compound, for that matter, is at the advantage as well, as they'll be able to stop at a decent way through, and then get on to the intermediates and play it that way. So that one's going to be an interesting decision there. Of course, text-to-speech and the rest of the top 10 that's on the softs is going to have a really tough time here. Of course, the softs are a decent amount faster than the mediums, but they're not going to last nearly long enough to get to the rain window. So this one is going to be close as far as that goes. And I tell you what, let's go back to our interval here. Mine as well. Text-to-speech is going to be leading us off the grid. That's quite a nice view of the grid, although I don't think it's the one that we're going to get, as our final driver of Giroud making his way to the grid. Take a final sip of water as we go into this. Also, be sure to check out the Slipstream podcast on Spotify for everything Midwest F1 related as we get ready to go with the start sequence. The lights are not existing just yet. The suspense is killing us. Race car, when go? Soon? Hopefully? Any day now? Hello? Help? Did Checo Perez cancel out the start of the race again? Are we going to have to do another formation lap? What's happened? And apparently it's not just me that is going through these technical difficulties either. Apparently this is a whole lobby thing. The cars are stuck on the grid. Are we going to get this start of the race or not? The suspense is killing us. Will we have to start behind a safety car? It's like Spa all over again. Surely not. I mean, I don't know what to say here. As you can see, the cars are completely stationary on the grid. Oh, here we go. Lights are coming on now. It's 5 lights. It's lights out and away we go here in Zandvoort. Now, text-to-speech got a really good start behind him. The pack is all spread every which way. Evil Prime gets out to a good advantage here going into the corner. We got a lot of cars off. That's a Mercedes that's gone around. That looks like snooker. We got multiple cars blocking the track. Capital 58 involved. Lots of cars gone every which way. Surely we're going to be getting a VSC as that's about 6 cars off there in the corner. Ray 46 picking up a severe collision with Snooker ML. Now, I'm not entirely sure if that's Ray's fault, as we had the Red Bull of It's Heavy S go through the gravel trap, and then we saw Capital 58 go around in the corner. Man, off to a chaotic start already. Meanwhile, here's Capital 58, I believe, is just in a battle with Snooker. Oh, and this is K-Dog now, off into the gravel. Not what she needed whatsoever, as she's going to bring out the yellow flag over in Sector 2. Going to come right back onto the circuit as It's Heavy S back there. Oh man, what is happening with this race? Evil Prime keeps his way up into second. We got a yellow flag in the corner. That looks like Unholy Red Eye. That's gone around in 11 and 12. Not the place he was supposed to be going off here. Somehow manages to get out of the way before blocking the track, and we do have a virtual safety car as Ray 46 has binned it over on the on exit of turn 9. Not what we wanted to see. Thankfully, it's only a VSC for now. Meanwhile, Text-to-Speech and Evil Prime have gotten themselves up to a decent enough gap here. Porkchop starting to fade backwards just a little bit. A couple cars coming in now. It looks like the McLaren of Kaz, Capital, Humble Hippo, and K-Dog all coming into the pits. Humble Hippo picking up 5 seconds for speeding into the pit lane. Not what he needed. As the virtual safety car still out here, Ray 46 leaving the session after his DNF. Definitely not what he needed. So unfortunate for Ray 46, who, I tell you what, didn't really look like he had the grips to the circuit that whole qualifying session. Put himself about P14 as far as I remember, and unfortunately his day has not ended well, and well, everything still says we're under VSE. Could this be another glitch? The amount of glitches we've had in this lobby since the start, I mean, I can't believe, as Humble Hippo speeding under VSC is going to get a drive-through penalty. I say text-to-speech was a Humble Hippo. I can't much remember. Something's happened. Hammer 38 picking up drive-throughs. ZGS picking up drive-throughs. Back to green flag racing here. Evil Prime not that far behind text-to-speech. It's done some good racing so far. SC Smith looks to be under pressure from Shelly the Turtle. ZGS, a 5-second penalty for a severe collision with, I believe that's Hammer. Was that going into the pit lane? I'm not entirely sure. Here's Snooker. He got overtaken by dead text message going through the corner. And I tell you what, he's about to lose another one here. Dean and Nico all over him. Nico almost losing the car as well. Snooker not off to the best start here, although he has made up a spot. He's under a lot of pressure from from D&E Nico, and I think Unholy Red Eye not that far behind either. Here comes D&E Nico, all over the gearbox of Snooker, down into the corner. Snooker's going to get forced way up the banking. That was some great driving there from Nico to force him into the mistake, and now Unholy Red Eye is going to be next up. Oh, Snooker, is he going to save the car? No, he's not. Snooker's going to go around right into the middle of the racing line, and thankfully he's been able to get the car out of the way. Such an unfortunate spin there for Snooker, who, ever since he had that first car overtake him, you knew from what it looked like that he was going to start, it was going to get on his nerves a little bit, and that's exactly what's happened as he's spun that car around. Wow. Probably the most interesting start to a race we've ever had, but Evil Prime still within 0.7 of a second on text-to-speech. Now, I don't know what's more difficult on this circuit, overtaking or... Oh, what's happened here? D&E Nico, what's happened? D&E Nico coming into the pit lane has smacked the wall, has lost the entirety of his front wing. That's I did not expect. Another McLaren of Kaz, and I believe this is Capital 58 side by side. Oh, look at Kaz go down to the inside. It's going to be a close one. Oh, and they make contact with each other, and they both go around. Synchronized swimming was in the Olympics, not Formula One, as both of them have spun. And Capital 58's going to pull back onto the racing line. Oh, right into the path of its Heavy S. That was almost dangerous. I don't know how much wing damage, if any, Capital 58 has. But he's almost ended the race of its Heavy S right there. That was a close one. And I don't think Heavy S is going to be happy with that one. Surely that's going to be a steward report. We have a car off. That looks like... That's not Evil Prime, is it? Evil Prime has gone off on the inside of turn 14. What has happened to Evil Prime? Has he just hit the curb on the inside and then hit the gravel trap on the outside and then spun to the bottom of the circuit? That looks like a very reasonable guess as to what's happened, and I think, well, he's coming in now. I'm not sure if he's got front wing damage or not. They are bringing in a front wing to repair. He's also picked up 5 seconds for speeding into the pit lane. That's not what he needed. Man. Action left and right. SC Smith now to the back of Pork Chops. Pork Chops has looked pretty solidly fast on this circuit, I must say. I raced with him in the practice race about an hour before the lobbies opened, and I tell you what, he looked like he was doing pretty good. Now, Sector 1, we got a car off. That's Hammer 38, who I believe this is another spin for him this race weekend. It doesn't look like he's lost any spots, though, thankfully for him. But SC Smith still trying to find his way to Pork Chops. Now, as I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted by about 7 spins. What is more complicated on this track, overtaking or gaining enough time to even make an overtake possible? Both of those are very hard things to do at this track. But with the DRS, let's see if SC Smith has anything here for Pork Chops. He's got the DRS, choosing not to use his overtake button, despite being on the medium compound as they go down into turn 1, which is for some reason called the Tarzan corner. Looks to the outside, nothing happening there. Pork Chops holding a very smooth and fast line through this track at the moment. No mistakes to be found from Pork Chops just yet. I say yet because usually every time I commend someone for how they're doing, they're soon to spin out afterwards. SC Smith not that far behind. We're going to check in on that one in a little bit. Now here's Snooker and Evil Prime battling down into turn 1. Evil Prime doing a good job keeping it clean for now. Side by side, it probably could be if they wanted it to, and now it will be. Almost. Evil Prime doing his best, still kind of looking to the inside of Snooker, and I tell you what, Evil Prime has a good chance to make this overtake happen. I don't think it's going to happen for a little bit, but he's in position. As long as he doesn't make any mistakes, he'll be right there, and he's going to dive down to the inside. What's happened to Snooker? He's just let him pass. And I tell you what, it looked like there, Snooker was following the game's recommended line into the corner. Let's see, some of these people are breaking early into it, and that was kind of what I was talking about there in the qualifying session on the lap of thing. Yeah, see, there's two different lines to take that corner. Meanwhile, dead text message down to the bottom of Shelly the Turtle, still looking around. Shelly the Turtle back to the outside. Got to make sure he doesn't lose his concentration here as he's lost a spot to dead text message. As you can see, big wiggle from dead text message going over the turn 2 curving there. Meanwhile, SC Smith still doing everything he can to find the back of Pork Chops here. According to my calculations, we are... Oh, I added up. We're about 15 minutes away from the rain that is supposed to be setting in at around the 30-minute mark. Could be a little earlier than that. Currently the closest battle in the pack, Shelly the Turtle. Oh, we got a car go around. That looks like ZGS. That is ZGS. What's happened here is we have a full safety car now. Yeah, and he's hit the curb and he's gone and smacked the wall there. Coming out of turn number 7, and that's an unfortunate end of the day for ZGS, who I tell you what was on a decent start to the day. I believe had the incident happened in turn 1, lost all his positions. So unfortunate for ZGS. But meanwhile, a lot of the leaders choosing to come in. Text-to-speech comes in, Pork Chops comes in, Shelly the Turtle coming in. Now, if we look and see what tire people are on, I'm messing with the wrong thing, aren't I? There we go. If we're looking and seeing what tire people are on, a lot of these guys that are having to stop now, Pork Chops, Shelly the Turtle, Unholy Red Eye, they might be at a severe disadvantage because now they've had to stop. You're going to have to probably stop again once the rain comes in. Man. Very interesting race so far. Meanwhile, dead text message, currently sitting P2. His tires are nearing the end of his life. Remember, those softs can only go about 11 to 15 laps, so he's got to think about making a stop here at the end of the safety car. The only remaining driver on the grid that has chosen to keep on the soft compound. Everyone else has gone to the mediums or the hards. Only one driver recently taken the hards, that's D&E Nico. So even if we were to have a dry race, which we're not, I hope, they would have to box again anyways. They've made this stop way too soon unless they've gone to the hards, in which I think at that point they probably could make it if they wanted to, but they've chosen to fit the mediums. They're going for the fast tire, knowing that the rain is going to come in at about 15 minutes. Man, an interesting start to this race. Lobby glitches left and right, cars going off the track. A lot of them have gone to the beach. 2 DNFs. Despite all the action we've had, despite all the spins and all the crashes, only 2 DNFs so far. That's, I don't want to say that's a proud moment, but, had you seen the race at Monaco, you would agree with me that's a welcome sight. So the grid forming up now. Behind SC Smith. Now, I believe the Mercedes of D&E Nico is the last one in. He's making his way shortly. So probably at least another lap of the safety car. Only about 4 cars coming in. Now, I tell you what, I don't think it's going to be in this lap. Probably not. As you can see, the sky has started to get grayer and grayer. Let's see, how many drivers this week are sporting that green helmet? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll call that a good 5. Yeah, so a decent amount of drivers sporting the green helmets this week is in support of those challenging, of those being faced with the challenges of mental health issues. That's a big thing that has been shown a lot of support in this Midwest F1 League, thankfully, as a lot of people's lives have been affected by that. I, for one, have really had experience with it personally. So very good to see on that end, as these guys really, I mean, this is really a tight-knit community, this league, as much as the rivalries that we have, as much as some of the Discord fights, hint, hint, F2. I'm sure, and I can wholeheartedly say that this group of lads here, all over 100 of them now, are a very good family of drivers, and we all take this league very seriously. We all support each other as much as we can, and I tell you what, very good to see here. Two drivers choosing to come in, Evil Prime and Humble Hippo, making their way into the pits. Now that I did not expect. I must say, a very interesting time to go ahead and box. You know, maybe they're just trying to extend the safety car a little bit longer. I mean, I couldn't tell you what the move is there. But Evil Prime and Humble Hippo both coming in and taking another stop. I think when we go back to green here, we're going to be keeping an eye out for text-to-speech. 1 lap old medium tires. Currently has the fastest compound out of anybody in the top 4 at the moment. Of course, Giroud behind them now. Giroud, remember, started P18. Dead last on the grid after his qualifying accident. Comes out here currently P4 at the moment, which is what I said. You know, a lot of these drivers that started on the hard compound are going to have a little bit of a benefit here, and that's exactly what's happened. Pork Chops only fell back to 5th, not bad. Shelly the Turtle, P6. Unholy Red Eye, P7. Hopefully we're going to get the safety car in this lap, and as I say that, Michael Massey has deemed, yep, we've let the cars ride behind Bern Maylander long enough. We're going to go racing. Yeah, I'm sure we've seen plenty of the safety car last week at Spa, so we're going to keep it nice and simple now, hopefully. SC Smith really doing everything to back the field up here, using all of the time he can to warm up his tires. Remember, watch text-to-speech. Back there, P3 on really fresh mediums, only 1 lap old. Everybody else in the top 4 is going to be closing in on 10 laps now. And as we go back to green flag, it looks like SC Smith is out to quite an advantage here. Text-to-speech. Oh, look at him crank the pace down, chasing down dead text message down into turn 1. It looks like Giroud has got Pork Chops not that far behind either. All clean so far. It looks like Shelly the Turtle and Unholy Red Eye. Nah, pretty close margins here, I tell you what. I think Heavy S and Capital 58 going at it as well. Capital 58 almost to the back of Heavy S. He's got D and Nico behind. Oh, and Heavy S loses the wheels, but he keeps the car out of the barriers. That was some very solid driving there. And as you can see right now, after the safety car comes in, the rain is coming down here in Zandvoort. Oh, and Capital 58 goes. Heavy S slams on the brakes to try to avoid him. And I believe Capital 58 thankfully hasn't DNF'd the car. Although, wow, that one, wow, absolute scenes here from Division 3. So the rains come about 10 minutes early. That's the crazy part. I don't think anybody planned on the rain coming this early. Down to the inside goes Unholy Red Eye with the overtake. Can he keep it off the gravel? No, he cannot. As Shelly the Turtle manages to get the position back in the wake of his error. Side by side going into 13 between text message and text-to-speech. Wow, that one's going to get confusing, won't it? Giroud swings down to the inside, picks up the spot. I will tell you, though, Giroud on these hard tires is going to be like driving on ice. Meanwhile, the two Alfa Romeos side by side down into turn 1. This track is going to get very moist very quickly, and Danny Nico, as you can see, has DNF from the session and a full safety car out now. Wow. A very exciting 1 lap. Can we actually see what's happened to Danny Nico?
Oh, I saved it. Oh, I'm out. Fuck me.
Bad luck there from the Mercedes team. Meanwhile, Giroud made his way up into P3. Pretty solid start from him. Pork Chops in P4. to text message P5. Now, I tell you what, that was a close call between these two drivers here of Pork Chops and Dead Text Message. Dead Text Message and Text-to-Speech. Man, that was quite the tongue twister going through turn 13 there. I'm a little surprised I even managed to pull that off, to be completely honest. But now the question comes in, who's going to do what as far as tires? SC Smith is going to lead the field around turn 14. It's his choice. Is he going to be the first one to come in and fit the inters? He might want to, and that's exactly what's happening. Oh, Dean and Nico, I can see what's happened there from the front wings flying everywhere. I think he's going to hit the wall on the outside of the corner, on the outside of turn 14, and then slid back down towards the track. And only one driver choosing to come in and pit. That's SC Smith, putting on the intermediates. Kaz picking up 5 seconds for a collision with K-Dog there, as K-Dog, wow, she was in the barriers on the right-hand side of entering the pit lane. So a total of 4 drivers choosing to box this time by. And I tell you what, if you're on that hard compound, you might want to think about coming in, as these tires, as I said before, it's going to be like driving on ice. This track doesn't have a lot of grip to begin with. It's going to have even less now, and I tell you what, we might be in for a wreck fest here. We managed a solid 8 laps before our first safety car. Oh, and text-to-speech! Did he just hit the back of the safety car? He did. How has he pulled that off? He's almost done it twice. I tell you what he's done. The track is starting to get moist, and he's missed his braking zone and gone into the back of the safety car. That I did not expect. Please don't do it again. I can't say I've ever seen that before in a Midwest F1 League race, but this Division 3, anything can happen. So SC Smith, currently the furthest up driver in the field that fit the intermediate tires. Let's see what happens this time by. Him and text-to-speech, for that matter, they're going to have to make decisions this time. Now, this corner in particular, turn 14, is going to be a mess once the track gets wet. It's simply not going to... It's not going to hold up. You're not going to be able to take it full. You probably need to brake halfway through. And lots of cars choosing to stay out of it, about 3 coming in. That includes Snooker, Capital, 58, and Kaz, all choosing to come in for the intermediates. Everyone else has chosen to stay on their respective compounds, except for SC Smith, who pit the first lap round. That one is an interesting move there. Got about 20 laps to go. Once we get out from under safety car, I assume. The intermediates are going to last about 21 laps, are the longest they can now. I'm not sure how much heavier the rain is going to get. You might even have to make a change over to the full wets. That isn't out of the question either. So Giroud has made his way up into third. Pork Chops made his way back into the podium positions after boxing under the first safety car. Then immediately, the lap after the safety car came in, the rain started falling. If Pork Chops doesn't get a podium here, it's just going to be on bad luck, isn't it? I mean, there's no way he could have predicted this. The rain came 10 minutes earlier than I thought it was going to. So, decisions for the top 7. And I've just realized it's going to be even more of a mess for the Alfa Romeo team. P3 and P4 now. Safety car is in this lap. As you can see, standing water on the circuit. I'm going to be honest, guys. I do not like the looks of this. Oh, we're in for a race here. It's going to be a mess when the Alfa Romeo team decides to pit, because remember, they're right next to each other. It's not like they've got some sort of... plan here. They've just kind of guessed it with the rain. Now, back under green flag, SC Smith picking up a 5-second penalty for what I believe was a severe collision. It's wet racing on dry tires here. Giroud almost losing the car, but doing a great job of keeping it. Wow, that was a very close one there. Into the banked corner in the wet. This one's not going to be pretty, folks. Giroud has got to be feeling some oversteer now. As it turns out, everybody actually made it through those corners clean, aside from, I believe, Heavy S, who's a little bit farther behind. Down into turns, oh god, I keep forgetting, 7 and 8 now. Everybody seems to be doing okay despite clear standing water on the circuit. S.C. Smith, so unfortunate for him, who picked up the penalty. 11 seconds behind It's Heavy S. I mean, you cannot make it up. As it turns out, I think Capital 58 is going to be the best one out of this, as he's already boxed. He's currently the furthest driver up on the intermediate tires. Meanwhile, Giroud's still cranking the pace out of those 14-lap-old hards. 0.3 of a second behind text-to-speech. This one's going to get interesting. Standing water around the banked corner. Oh yeah, they're definitely going to be coming in this time by. Yeah, I'd say so. Oh, and Heavy S! He's been disqualified for being parked in a dangerous location. We have a full safety car again! How has this managed to happen? Everybody and their mother coming in. Capital 58 is going to inherit the lead. Minus Humble Hippo and Evil Prime, who have chosen to stay out again. Unbelievable. The scenes here in Division 3. Oh no. Has text-to-speech put on a fresh set of softs? Has Unholy Red Eye put on a fresh set of softs? If you remember back to Brazil, VTech made this same sort of error when he accidentally put on the wrong compound on the MFD panel. That's just not it, Chief, there. I mean, I don't know. Hopefully that was a planned decision. I doubt it is. The rest of the field on the intermediates. 4 drivers still have yet to box. Humble Hippo and Evil Prime. Now, I'm really concerned as to why they didn't come in. I mean, were they already past the pit lane entry when the safety car came out? I think that might have been the case. As you can see now, doing everything they can to keep some heat into these tires. Now, I tell you what, though, when they are under safety car, they're going to be at somewhat of an advantage. It's not going to be that bad for them, to be honest. I mean, yeah, they're going to be back at the tail end of the grid, but at least they're going to be bunched up still. And look at this. Humble Hippo still on the soft, still out in front. Evil Prime, by the way, picks up 5 seconds for speeding into the pit lane. That was, I think, the worst kept secret in the world, as there's no way you can make that braking zone going into there on a wet track with dry condition tires. Just not going to happen there, Chief. So Humble Hippo leads the pack around turn 3 on the soft tire. Capital 58 behind him. Oh, why's Giroud come back in? Giroud's just come out. Did he choose not to box? Well, I'm not entirely sure what's happened there with Giroud, but he finds himself down there in P14. Man. I think we're going to get the safety car in this lap. As you can see, I mean, Humble Hippo struggling to even make the braking zone under safety car. Speaking of safety car, it's in this lap. I don't know what to make of this one, Chief. I think Humble Hippo is a real sitting duck at this point in time. I think Capital 58 has got the best chance here. Snooker, look at Snooker up there in P3 now. He had a incident, about 5 laps in. And I was saying, I really hope that little mistake wasn't going to cost him. And I tell you what, he's made it back up into the podium positions. Kaz not far behind. K-Dog not far behind. The Alfa Romeo team, who boxed, I mean, they've down in P6 and 8. Now here comes down into the first corner. Humble Hippo doing everything he can to making the braking zone. But I think the intermediates are just that much better in these conditions. But it's going to be side by side for the lead as Capital 58 takes the advantage going into turn 2 and is going to get the position over Humble Hippo. Not far behind is Snooker. He's going to be next up. K-Dog, she fell back to P6 under it. Oh, and Humble Hippo, he's gone! What's happened to Humble Hippo? He's just lost it on exit of turn 3. And now we have another incident. He's flown himself back into the center of the grid. Cars going around him left and right, and he's going to hit the wall there and find himself up into the gravel trap. Now, I believe there was contact there with Giroud. But man, Humble Hippo, you knew it was going to be tough staying out on the soft tires. And unfortunately, you saw that coming from a mile away. As Humble Hippo falls down the order, Capital 58 takes the lead by some margin as well, 3.3 seconds. But here comes Pork Chops down to the left side. Is he going to get the spot on Kaz? He's going to be forced to the gravel. I can't tell if it was good defensive driving or just shutting the track off from Pork Chops, but whatever Kaz did, he's kept the second position. Snooker ML down to 4th, but he's right there along with them. However, he's under immense pressure from Shelly the Turtle. Round the outside, switches back. Oh man, this is some super speedway racing here. Shelly the Turtle down to the inside. Is he going to get the spot going into the Tarzan corner? You betcha he will. What a pass there from Shelly the Turtle. Doing very well as I think. Dead text message starting to close in on Snooker. K-Dog's fallen back to 8th. Not what she needed at all. She is tiptoeing her way around the circuit. Has she got wing damage? I'm not entirely sure there. Text-to-speech finding a way around the outside of SC Smith. Oh, as K-Dog just turned into an AI. Something's happened there. Oh, and I think K-Dog's turned into an AI here. She's dreadfully slow. Oh, we have 2 cars up in the corner. That's dead text message, and that's Snooker as well. Man, and I tell you what, boys, the track does not go over there as, I honestly didn't even see it. I had to look to the corner of my screen to see that there was 2 cars up in the gravel trap on top of the hill. Pork Chops now. Can he find his way around Kaz? Using all the overtake button he can. Looks like text-to-speech getting around K-Dog there in the midfield, but the battle for second rages on. These two have been battling ever since the safety car came in. That one's going to be really close. Doing a good job here of keeping the racing clean. That part is for sure. Capital 58 amounting a 4-second lead now as K-Dog K being shuffled even further back down the pack, down to P9. Meanwhile, looks like Shelly the Turtle wants in on this battle as well. His teammate of Hammer 38, not that far behind either, about 2.5 seconds. Can be made up here. We'll have to see how that plays out. Here's Pork Chops, still looking to the back of Kaz. Can he send it round the outside? The answer is going to be no, but Kaz shuffles his way up the circuit a little bit, as I think Giroud's just had enough over in turn 14. Giroud put in the Discord chat midway through the safety car, up to P3 from dead last. Great. Well, I tell you what, I don't think he's amounted to all that much ever since that safety car has come in. And I tell you what, I don't know if it was just a strategy call from him that made that mistake or not, as, you know, he was in a really good position, then suddenly he found his way all the way back down to P14. Here comes Pork Chop, still looking around to try to get past Kaz here. Can he look to the outside? And it looks like that battle's going to be relatively tame for the time being. SC Smith having a big lockup going into turn 11. Thankfully, was able to save the car. This is still the closest battle on the in the race right now. Wow, my words are just not working the way they are there. Shelly the Turtle, he's found his way into this battle for third as well. I should say battle for second. Kaz is under a lot of pressure here. Meanwhile, it looks like Capital 58 has lost about a second of his time back to Kaz. I wonder what's happened to Capital 58. Has he just had an off and lost some time, maybe saved the car, had to make a good little Zandvoort drift? I'm not entirely sure what's happened, but meanwhile, here we are, the battle for seconds. 1, 2, and 3, and then Hammer 38. Well, he's a little bit further behind. He's under immense pressure from SC Smith, for that matter. Let's check up on text-to-speech, trying to find his way around the outside of SC Smith. I don't think you're going to be able to overtake there in the rain. That part is for sure. Good little battle here as well. Some decent racing this is. Down into... oh my god, what corner is this? Turn 8? Yeah, it sounds about right. This is turn 8. Here we go. No, this is turn... oh my god, I'm losing my mind. This is now turn 10. SC Smith right to the gearbox of Hammer. A virtual safety car's come out. Who's gone off where? Man, I'm not sure what's exactly has gone on to cause that virtual safety car. Have we just got debris somewhere? I'm not entirely sure. I can't say there is a justified reason for this virtual safety car. I've not seen anyone spin. I've not seen anyone DNF. I'm not sure what's happened. Now Capital 58, remember that gap that was shrunken by a second, is now increased it up 2 seconds, up to about 5 before that happened. Yeah, I think that is some debris. They're coming out of turn 14, yeah, here's K-Dog. I think you can see it just about there. Yeah, someone has lost a front wing. We're back to green flag conditions. K-Dog going somewhere. Not entirely sure. Back up through the field now. Pork chops right to the back of Kaz yet again. And I tell you what, this virtual safety car has only bunched up the field even more, as now Shelly the Turtle finding his way in. Hammer now back there as well. This realistically, can we see this gap back to the leader from P2, which is Kaz? Only about 2 seconds separates P2 to P7. That's quite nice there, I say. Not to mention even more cars are filing in as well. Unholy Red Eye now joining the battle for position as well, trying to find his way around. This is text-to-speech. S.C. Smith had a bit of an incident there. I wouldn't say incident, bit of a mistake rather. Down into turn 11. Still trying to find some way to make up ground here. Took up a little bit of the curving. Some nice battling here. Kaz, wow, I thought Kaz was being overtaken there for a second. It was very close. Pork chops right to the gearbox of Kaz. Oh, he hit the wall on exits. Has he lost his end plate? I'm not entirely sure, but Pork chops down to the inside. Can he make the position? Still right there. Kaz doing everything he can to block off the corner from Pork chops. Pork chops hasn't had to go off the circuit there. Had he gone off and hit the wall, I think he maybe had a good reason to fill out a steward report for that. But he's kept it clean for now. Capital 58, his lead's still 3 seconds. Little bit of mix-up going through the midfield right now as I think K-Dog gets around Hammer 38. Text-to-speech got around S.C. Smith, I believe there. Pork chops still trying to find his way around Kaz. This is some excellent racing, this is. Trying to look for another close battle to get in on here. Here's Hammer 38 still trying to find his way around K-Dog. Trying to find an opening here to make the overtake. Now down into turn 9. K-Dog a little bit wide out of the corner. Evil Prime not far behind either. Look at him, only 0.3 of a second back on Hammer 38. This is some solid battling here. K-Dog really wide out of the corner. Hammer 38 didn't get much better of an exit either. Monkey see, monkey do, I suppose. Unholy Red Eye to the back of S.C. Smith, taking up all of the curb through turn 13. Let's see if he can make something happen here. Pork Chop seems to have made the overtake around Kaz as they head down the straights and into turn 1. Beautiful move there from Unholy Red Eye. Back to the battle for second. I think Pork Chops has made the overtake stick. Maybe he just got a better run coming out of turn 14. That certainly is a possibility. Battles every which way here. Hammer 38 down to the inside on K-Dog. Great overtake there, did it cleanly. And is Evil Prime going to get it as well? Side by side still between these two. And finally, I think Evil Prime is going to let off and choose the safe route there. Man, I think the time for full wets might be coming soon. Down to the inside goes Evil Prime. Let's see who's going to get the better exit. It's definitely going to be Evil Prime there. Nicely done. Beautiful overtake. Let's throw that one onto the highlight reel there. Text-to-speech in on this battle as well. Oh, we have a yellow flag over in Sector 3. That's either Giroud or Snooker. Someone's gone off there. I'm not entirely sure. Down the straight they go. Shelly the Turtle. Still trying to find his way around Kaz. I tell you what. Pork Chops has made up quite a gap here. Shelly the Turtle down to the inside, trying to capitalize off of Kaz's mistake. And it's not going to happen. Snooker ML going to be the first driver in the field to switch to the full wets. Is this going to be the time that we see drivers come in? It definitely looks like the rain is not getting any better. Shelly the Turtle around the outside, switches back down inside. Still side by side. They're trying everything they can. But here comes Text-to-Speech. Can he find the overtake now? Getting into the back of Kaz. Side by side going through the corner for P3. Shelly the Turtle keeping the spot from now. Oh man, this is unbelievable racing. Around the outside, Text-to-Speech is trying his best. Kaz doesn't get that good of an exit, and Text-to-Speech finds the wrong end of that situation there and also loses the spot to Unholy Red Eye. That has not gone well. K-Dog K coming in now to fit, presumably, the full wets. The problem is, I'm looking at Snooker right now. He's not making up any time on Humble Hippo. That one is going to be interesting there. Has he made the wrong decision? Has he come in too soon? Text-to-speech, I think, made his way around Kaz. Oh, and who's that? It's going off. That's Snooker getting out of the way of the pack. Man. Kaz has lost a couple spots here, about 3 spots in the last 2 laps. Not what he needed, and it all started in this corner here. Pork Chops and Shelly the Turtle have found their way up into P2 and P3. The question is when do we see drivers stop? Oh, have we got an incident here going to turn 1? Wow, what's happened? I'm confused. Who's just gone off there? Is someone stuck? I'm confused. Why does it tell me there's a car there? Well, I couldn't tell you. There's a yellow flag, and we have a virtual safety car. Now, a lot of drivers did choose to come in. Shelly the Turtle being one of them. Unholy Red-Eye came in as well. Kaz came in, and Evil Prime came in, all fitting the wet tires. Now, Capital 58 still has the lead, albeit it's been cut down to about 2 seconds to Pork Chops now. He's a far way away from being able to box for the wets, I'll tell you that much, and we have been upgraded to a full safety car. Now, the question is going to rely on who comes in boxes, and I think it's going to be most of the field now. This marks, I believe, the 3rd safety car of the day here in Division 3. Well, things come in 3s, I suppose. Giroud coming in and putting on the wet tires now, and you had to think. I didn't know how long the rain was going to hang around for. I didn't know how much worse it was going to get. And as you can see, they are fitting the full wet tires. And I think now it's just going to come down to whoever gets to box first. I tell you what, this top 4 drivers of Capital 58, Pork Chops, Text-to-Speech, and SC Smith, all in a terrible, terrible position right now because they're going to have to box. Shelly the Turtle, Unholy Red-Eye, Kaz, and the rest have already pit. This is definitely not what anyone needed. Capital 58 coming in now. Pork Chops filing in behind. Text-to-Speech surely not that far behind either. And Text-to-Speech making the bold decision to stay out. And I think SC Smith is going to do just the same. Unbelievable. Now Pork Chops coming in and choosing the box. Now comes Shelly the Turtle, who's already boxed. They haven't just fit fresh inners, have they? There's no way. There's no way Pork Chops has just fit fresh intermediate tires. And that's exactly what happened. Him and Capital 58 alike accidentally, potentially, have just fit fresh intermediates again. I don't think that's exactly what he wanted to do there. Text-to-Speech has the lead. SC Smith 2nd, Capital 58 3rd, Shelly the Turtle 4th. We're going to probably be left with what is a 6-lap shootout here at the end of the race. Anyone want to run some 5-lappers? Well, we're going to right now here in Division 3. Wow. Humble Hippo. He's been disqualified from the session for ignoring the yellow flag. What exactly does that mean, and why has he been disqualified? Okay. Didn't expect that one. Well, it looks like we're going to have the safety car for at least another lap, and I tell you what, any window that Text-to-Speech, SC Smith, or Capital wanted to box for the full wets has probably gone out the window. I think just now it's just too late to make that decision to come in and box again. I don't think anybody will. So what exactly is the pace difference going to be like? As you can see, Text-to-Speech struggling with grip, even under the safety car, as Dead Text Message picks up 5 seconds for speeding into the pit lane. I tell you what, so far, my driver of the day has to probably go to Pork Chops. And I'm not just saying that because he runs this league. I'm saying that because he's made every possible pit stop he can. The safety cars have come out at absolutely terrible times for him. and he's still somehow P5 now. He will only earn that title if he stays 5th or above, and he's put on the fresh inners. That's going to be a tall order for him. At the moment, the games driver of the day has to go to Capital 58. So, how many positions can you gain? How many can you lose in a span of 8 laps? 7 when we cross the line. To the rear end of the field now comes dead text message. So Snooker is in a terrible spot here because he has all of the leaders right behind him. This is going to be an interesting one here. Safety car still not in. I don't know what to tell you guys. Man. Safety car still not in. So we have at least one more driver catching up to the back. That looks like it's Snooker. No, it's not. I believe it's going to be K-Dog. Yes, it is K-Dog. Oh man, I don't know what to tell you here, folks. This is going to be one heck of an ending. If we look and see who's on what tire now, I mean, you look at it, Pork Chops and Capital 58 do have the fastest tire right now. However, are the conditions still good enough for the intermediates? It doesn't look like it is. Pretty much everyone and their mother has come in and fit the full wets. Can Capital 58 and Pork Chops, Text-to-Speech and SC Smith, can they keep their pace together enough to finish the race on the intermediates and not have to change over to the full wets? Because they've missed their chance. You can't come in now and expect to finish top 5. It's just not going to happen. They're going to have to stick with the decisions they've made. And by the way, SC Smith, his tires are getting near the end of his life. He's going to have 6 to go, so they're getting 19 laps at the end of the race is the tire age for those intermediates. Now, they will last about 21 laps. But if this rain continues at this rate, he's going to have no grip. Absolutely nothing is going to be going his way. He's done himself good to get into the position, mind you. He's done everything correct strategy-wise to get himself into this position. Although, has he outsmarted himself and stuck with the intermediates? Well, the safety car is going to be coming in this lap. All of our questions are going to be answered once the field makes their way slowly, albeit, through turns 13 and 14. Text-to-Speech doing everything he can to back up the field. He's at a bit of a disadvantage as well. You know, he's on 11 lap hold intermediates. Granted, it's not as much as 13. But he's not going to be any sort of an advantage here. As the field slowly rounds the banked corner of turn 14, all the questions are going to be answered here. Giroud picks up 5 seconds for a severe collision with dead text message. We are back under green flag racing. This one is going to be close, down into the corner, almost 3 abreast back there between Pork Chops. I believe that was Shelly the Turtle as well. Pork Chops to the back of Capital 58, down to the inside. This is Shelly the Turtle. I might be a little stupid, I'm not going to lie. Shelly the Turtle down to the inside of Capital 58, and as you can see, I believe it was the wet tires that got the better start here. Man, this is a tough race here. That's a car off. That's Unholy Red Eye. Pork Chops, did he just find his way around Hammer 38? And I think he did. Up into P5 once again, and he's got to lift through this section of the track. SC Smith still trying to find his way to the back of Text-to-Speech. We got a car off, and it looks like it might be either K-Dog or Unholy Red Eye. I'm not entirely sure what's happened there. Shelly the Turtle still trying to find his way back into contention for this win. First and second, very close together. Out of turn number 10 they go. Down the straight, and I think Text-to-Speech just has the advantage right now. Shelly the Turtle not that far behind. Hammer 38 trying to find his way around Pork Chops. Pork's almost sliding off the circuit there through the gravel. Coming back up the track in front of Hammer 38. Yellow flag over there in Sector 3. That looks like Evil Prime, and no, Evil Prime has gone around. Hopefully he's not blocking too much of the circuit. Round the final corner, SC Smith trying his best to still find his way to the back of Text-to-Speech. Shelly the Turtle not that far behind either. SC Smith to the outside. Text-to-speech really losing it on the exit of the corner. Coming now into turn 3. This is a battle for the win, ladies and gentlemen. All three of the podium positions within a second of each other. This one's going to get dicey real quick. Capital 58, all he really has to do is sit and watch and make sure that he's in position to take this in case these two cars wreck. S.C. Smith doing everything he can to find room around text-to-speech. He's got a hungry Shelly the Turtle right behind him. Not to mention Capital 58 starting to close in as well. He's now within 9/10 of a second. Man, what a race this is turning out to be. You may not have liked the safety cars, but I tell you what, if you like good racing, this is it. And that's Kaz that's gone off back there, and I believe that's on exit of turn number 9. Not exactly the place where you want to be going around. And dead text message, I think, got collected in that as well. As well as, I believe that's Snooker. That has not gone to plan there. Unbelievable racing this is. There's still a yellow flag over in Sector 2. Still some very close racing. Right to the back of S.C. Smith goes Shelly the Turtle, managing to still get the braking zone. Shelly the Turtle's going to have the advantage coming out of the corner, but here comes S.C. Smith down to the outside, trying to find his way around text-to-speech. To the outside they go into turn 1. This one's going to get close really quick. Shelly the Turtle, now he's going to look to the inside. Not going to make anything happen this time. Good golly, this is some great racing. Shelly the Turtle still right there trying to find everything he can. Capital 58, mind you, still trying to find his way into this battle for the podium positions. Pork Chops and Hammer aren't far behind either. Kaz coming into the pits now. I think he's probably got wing damage or something. Evil Prime, mind you, has gone and fit the softs as he ran out of tires. Oh, it's Shelly the Turtle. He's going to botch his braking zone. The door hangs wide open for Capital 58 and Pork Chops. Oh, and what's happened to Shelly the Turtle there for him to botch his braking zone? Did he just get too close to S.C. Smith? Did he just try to get too dangerous? I'm not sure what's happened. But he's lost P3 down to P5. We have a yellow flag again over in Sector 2. That's one of the Alpines. Pork Chops taking all of the curb with him. The door's still open for Shelly the Turtle. Hammer 38 in on this as well. Pork Chops, I tell you what, I thought it was going to be a mistake being on the intermediate still. I tell you what, he's doing an excellent job. The two Ferraris now trying their best to battle each other for this 5th spot. Hopefully no unruly overtaking happening there. S.C. Smith still doing everything he can to find his way past text-to-speech, and it looks like the two Ferraris side by side. Going into turn 2, Hammer 38 is going to get the position. S.C. Smith still looking to try to find something worth hanging on to here. Slowly starting to fall a little bit backwards. About 0.5 of a second now. His tires are 2 laps older. Does Capital 58 have the pace to get into this battle for the win here? S.C. Smith still doing everything he can. Pork Chops, meanwhile, lurking 2 seconds behind Capital 58. Any sort of mistake here from any of the top 3 will blow the door wide open for Pork Chops to take the podium position. And I tell you what, as it stands right now, Pork Chops, I believe, would take the Drivers' Championship lead. Here comes S.C. Smith and Text-to-Speech, both struggling with understeer there as they go through turn 13. That's 12. Down into turn 13, right up against the gearbox with each other. This one is getting close, and as we come to the line, it's going to be 3 laps to go. Oh, a little bit of wiggle there from S.C. Smith, nearly losing his car on exit of turn 14. It was a brilliant save. I'll give him that much. But my goodness, he's almost lost the car. S.C. Smith doing everything he can to hang on to the gearbox of text-to-speech. Meanwhile, Capital 58, he's closing in within 1 second. Are we going to have another 3-car battle for the win? In the dying laps of the Touch Grand Prix, K-Dog K, has she just left the session? She's lagged out, and a great P7 as well. So unfortunate for K-Dog. We've got a yellow flag over. That is one of the Alfa Romeos. Oh, it's Pork Chops. Oh, Pork Chops has gone off. Hammer 38, 8 seconds behind, not going to do anything to be able to claim a podium spot here, but Pork Chops actually only fell down to P6. Probably the best outcome he's had after that incident. We do, I think, have back markers in the way. That looks to be Snooker going through turn 14 now. So these three cars here. And the PlayStation said you've recorded for over an hour. Let's pick it back up now. Here comes SZ Smith. I could have swore I've said this line about 20 times already. He is still hanging it right there. 2 laps to go now. Right to the gearbox of text-to-speech. Man, if I was SC Smith right now, I'd go all out for this win. Text-to-speech has got to do all the defensive driving he can to make sure that SC Smith doesn't get this win. I tell you what, SC Smith looks so much faster in straight line speed than text-to-speech every single time they come out of turn 14. SC Smith is almost right there into turn 1 again. SC Smith has got to keep his cool here, and text-to-speech has got to keep even cooler. Neither one of them have made critical mistakes just yet. Capital 58, meanwhile, he wants in on this as well. About a second behind SC Smith as they head through turn number 10. Capital 58, a little bit of wiggle there. Here comes the back marker of Snooker. He's going to be right in the way of text-to-speech. Text-to-speech has to brake way too early. Snooker doing a good job of getting out of the way. SC Smith doing everything he can to stay close. We're going to be coming to 1 lap to go, this time by Capital 58. He's looking in on this as well, but his chances for the win are slowly starting to die. SC Smith within 0.5 of a second. I don't think he's going to get it this time by into the corner, doing everything he can. This better be a perfect lap from text-to-speech if he wants the win. The rain didn't get any better. It's not lessening up. Changing it to the wet tires seemed like a good idea, although these top 4 cars, Pork Chops has made his way back into P4, mind you. These top 4 cars have done a good job. They took the risk of staying out on the intermediates. Risk versus reward was the question, and it looks like reward was just enough. But this race isn't over. We're still getting into Sector 2 just now. Yellow flag in Sector 2. Someone's gone off there. I believe it's Snooker getting out of the way for the Red Bull of Evil Prime or something. I'm not entirely sure what's happened. SC Smith, if he wants a move to be made, he has to do it now because Capital 58 wants in on this as well. He is charging for the second spot. Can he find something happening into turn 12? It looks like the answer is no. This is going to be a good race to the finish here. Text-to-speech has got 2 corners left to keep it perfect. Capital 58, can he possibly make something happen? And I don't think he's going to be able to. Text-to-speech wins a very entertaining Dutch Grand Prix. SC Smith finished second, and Capital 58... Well, hang on a minute. Did Capital 58 take second? Did Capital 58 take second on some sort of penalty that I didn't see on screen? Did Pork Chops take second? What has happened exactly to SC Smith? He was right there. Suddenly, he's P5? What exactly has happened to SC Smith? Surely this isn't how the order is supposed to be, because he's rapidly falling down the order. He's down to 8th now. That can't be right. Now, I really hope it's just my screen being a bit of a bum. I hope that's what it is. Because if not, SC Smith, I'm inviting him to the party no matter what, because he's earned that podium, surely. But Text-to-Speech takes an amazing win. Capital 58 picking up Driver of the Day, picking up at least 10 spots. It was a brilliant drive from him. Let's see who steps onto the podium. Oh man, Pork Chops is on the podium. What has happened to SC Smith? Why is he not P2? 3 drivers up on the podium. Text-to-speech, Capital 58 and Pork Chops taking the podium positions, apparently. SC Smith down to P11. I guess we're going to get to our podium 3 I'm going to invite I'm going to invite SC Smith. He's definitely earned his P3. Or P2, rather. Wow, okay. So text-to-speech, capital 58, pork chops, apparently your top 3. We're going to get to those interviews right now. Okay, I am here with 2 out of our 3 podium finishers, SC Smith and capital 58. Congratulations, both of you, on the podium. Now, I'm going to start with you, SC Smith, because now this was an interesting race for you. You had a lot of things thrown your way. You had the safety car, multiple safety cars come out. Now, I want to bring it to the question of, was staying out on the inters instead of coming in for the full wets, was that planned, or was that kind of a mistake and didn't mean to do that, but let's roll with it, see how it works? Text-to-speech, welcome. We'll get to you in a little bit.
No, when I pitted for the inters at the first point, I knew that they would last to the end of the race, and Jeff managed to tell me that the rain was going to die down at some point, so I just decided that I would make it on those.
Nice. Yes, text-to-speech, we can hear you. But, yeah, no, that was an interesting decision because it was only you guys in the top 4 that chose not to come in. Everybody and their mother pretty much came in and fit the full wet, so I wasn't sure if that was some sort of mistake or just a big gamble. But it's paid off for you. Now, next week we go to the Hungaroring. Not exactly one of my favorite tracks, but a very interesting one to say the least. How do you think you'll fare?
Well, Hungaroring, to be honest with you, hasn't been one of my strong tracks, but we'll see how it goes. Hopefully get some good practice in.
Yes, you are. Thank you all for...
and you guys can hear me too.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us, SC Smith. Congratulations on the podium. Hopefully, podium. You've definitely earned it, but we're going to go over that with the stewards later on. As far as I'm concerned, you've definitely earned it. So congratulations on that. We'll see you next week. Capital 58. Now, I tell you what, you had a couple things that happened. The door at some point was left wide open for you to get into those podium spots, and you've absolutely nailed that very soggy drive on the intermediate tires. So I have to ask again, was it a plan for you to stay out on the inters instead of coming in for the full wets?
Yeah, it was. So I know with the full wets on this game, they are significantly slower on a lot of occasions. So I was just sort of hoping that the rain would either, keep as it was or lighten up just a little bit towards the end of the race. And yeah, my inners would come back into the window.
Now, you had the freshest set of inners out of everybody in the top 3, for that matter. And you were right there towards the end. I think in about 5 more laps, you probably would have got him, to be honest. It was a very good race. All 3 of you within a second and a half of each other, as far as I can remember. But next week, again, we go to the Hungaroring, another interesting one. How do you think your chances are there?
It's always a crapshoot, right? Hungaroring wasn't one of my strongest tracks on 2020. But it seems like I fare a little bit better there on 2021. The game is just a lot different to me in terms of how it handles. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's all really just a crapshoot. At the end of the day, it seems like it really just comes down to just executing once you get on the track. So, which is pretty much what you're able to do today. Like you said, I did have those fresh inners, but once I cruised up to the back of second place, it was sort of a risk-reward sort of measure there. I'm like, you know what? I'm not even gonna. I've had so many risks in this race. I'm not even gonna go for it. Like, if he messes up, I'm gonna take the position. But if not, I'm just gonna hang out here and we can all just sort of cruise on to the podium. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So great drive to all 3 of you. Thank you for joining us. Now, unfortunately, Div 3 is not going to go broadcasted next week, as I am actually going to be promoted up to Div 1 for the first time. So that's going to be pretty fun. You guys could get cast. I'm not entirely sure how that's going to play out, but yeah, boo is correct. Honestly, this has been a very exciting division. I tell you what. As far as the standards that I had going into this season, I thought, Div 3 is probably just as competitive as my previous days in Div 2, and you guys are living up to that. Another great race today, so thank you all for joining us. Join us next week when we travel to, Mogirod for the Hungaroring? I think that sounds right. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.